is written all over your face. Scientific intricity you created out in space. Oh yeah. You can do what you wanna do. Tap a phone, we know you're listening. You can think how you wanna think now, but you can't stop us, the truth is rising. But to lose, we refuse. I will go down without a fight. You think that I can't see what you're doing to me? No, you cannot defeat me, 'cause I'm out of your league. My hand on your heel, I'm pulling through, a step ahead of you. You think that I can't see, you know how you bounce with me.
Yeah, they think we can't see. A higher powers with us. Bless you, brothers and sisters. Of course, I'm jumping right in. Okay, this is in preparation for our Patreon tomorrow, so I thought I would at least give y'all some insight of what we'll be talking about. Okay, now, shalom, shalom, shalom. This will not be a long stream at all. Trust me this time. All right. Now, I have a good question for you all. You can see the title of this particular update. I'll call it an update. It's an update. Environmental war. How many of you have ever heard of Environmental Modification Convention? Environmental Modification Convention. A lot of you didn't even know that that convention ever existed, right? Now, I was wondering what was going on with my phone last night. Every couple of moments, there was this emergency alert going off on my phone. Flood, 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 flash floods. Get to an area, get to a safe area. And you know, just like probably Noah and the prophets were doing back in the past, we just prophesied through the storm, right? The Most High, like the Israelites in Goshen, had the storm pass over while we were doing the will of the Most High. I really didn't understand how grave an emergency that was last night during the broadcast, breaking down zombie prophecies, but I digress. Again, not most of you have ever heard of environmental modification. Let's figure out what that is. If you go to Wikipedia or any encyclopedia, okay, you can pull up the definition or the words Environmental Modification Convention. What is it? Let's discuss what this is. The Environmental Modification Convention, ENMOD, formerly the Convention on the Prohibition of Military or any other hostile use of environmental modification techniques, is an international treaty prohibiting the military or other hostile use of environmental modification techniques having widespread, long-lasting, or severe effects. It opened for signature on May 18th, 1977 in the Geneva and entered into force October 5th, 1978. Now, the Geneva Convention is a convention that countries share in, okay, to make sure no country go outside of regular warfare rules. It's called the Geneva Convention. So the convention bans weather warfare. What's weather warfare? What is weather warfare? The convention bans weather warfare, which is the use of weather modification techniques for the purposes of inducing damage or destruction. The Convention of Biological Diversity of 2010, biological, would also ban some forms of weather modification or geoengineering. Okay? Okay, so what's fact? What's fact is that weather warfare is true. It's an agreement that other countries cannot use weather warfare on one another. Right? Okay. Now, here's the strange thing. The day before yesterday, we were driving on 95, going into the old world or the old cities near New England. We were on the road. And I noticed this. This was the day before yesterday on 95, rolling into what? Near New London. On my way near, we went past New York, near upstate New York. We went all the way through 95, past Connecticut. And look what I seen in the sky. How many of you believe that these are regular cloud patterns? Is this the pattern of clouds that the Most High developed naturally? So when I seen this, I knew in particular from an expert I had on our radio show years ago that this looks like there's patterns of waves that have separated clouds. Okay? And I said the day before yesterday, something is coming. When I seen this in the sky, I said, quote unquote, I took my camera, opened the window over my head in the car. And I looked through the window and I began to take pictures and I said, what? Something is coming. Okay. I took pictures right through the sunroof. I said, it's either, who knows, maybe an earthquake or a storm will be coming. I took these pictures the day before yesterday. And then the next day, we get tornadoes in New Jersey. I've never heard of tornadoes going through Pennsylvania, New Jersey. And it came straight off the Gulf Stream, right following the pattern of 95, the same pattern I was actually driving the day before. Tuesday morning, I was on this road and recognized. So here it is. When you look up again, Environmental Modification Convention, it's the power to be able to carry storms on waves. On waves. Now, who knows, right? 3 storms. Now, there's some people who just went through 2020 that could not withstand another tragic scenario. You know how many businesses that will never resurface after this because they couldn't recover financially from 2020? And it seems like it carefully went along the shorelines. Okay? So a lot of that shore property, I need y'all to look out for this. A lot of the shore property and retail businesses. Let's find out how many stores, retails, mom and pop stores that will never recover from this. There's a lot. And on top of that, when it's natural disasters, it's tough for insurance claims. Insurance companies, they probably pay a little bit, but they don't really recover people in a natural disaster. Okay? So, but the point I'm going to leave you all with before I go, because I have to go, the point that I want to leave y'all with is, when you listen to the news today, let's see if the narrative strangely changes to blaming people to why the weather is like it is. Because it seems like no matter what event comes out, even if something comes from somewhere that we have nothing to do with, the people end up being what? The culprits. It's the people to why things won't go back to normal. Let's see if they're going to somehow spin a narrative to claim that because people are breathing and living and whatever the case is, that the weather has began to fight back. Okay? You know what they call it. You know what they call it. But let's see if they start using this change word out there to blame people for the storm and not talk about what I seen the day before. Waves in the sky. The Most High don't make currents in the sky like this. I've seen natural clouds all my life, folks. And we need to find out what people has the power to use environmental modification convention. I mean, use weather warfare under the environmental modification convention. Who was there and agreed not to use weather warfare? Which means those are the people that should be blamed and not the population who's under assault. So let's see how they go in their narrative. Let's see if the people will go along with accepting the news and others blaming the people for that storm. They're going to call it some change or call it some stuff, and they're going to say it's the environment and all this old other stuff. And at the end of the day, it's going to say what? We're going to have to really look into how much energy we're using, how much fuel we're using. We must up the taxes so that we can actually adjust how much people use, because it's really causing issues with the weather. So more restrictions on the people. More restrictions on the people. Because of this. Because of this. Now, I'm going to let you all tie 2 and 2 together, but I took pictures the day before yesterday. And then the next day, coincidentally, a storm comes from the Gulf of Mexico and follow the same trail of 95 I was on the day before, taking this picture. Coincidence? You think? But eventually, I'm going to tell you right now, what's going on is an assault on the world. And guess what? Yeah. The United Union is being torn apart. Babylon the Great is fallen. It's fallen. And each day we will hear of a new event. And it was like this before what? Before the Most High freed the children of Israel. Whether it be, and at the end of the day, even though we know the elite powers in the world are operating this, it's the Most High God, our God, allowing it. This is for amendment for those who agreed with the destruction of our people. So, Babylon the Great is fallen, is fallen. One thing about a corporation, and that's what this country is, made out of England. Anytime they want, they can dismantle and sell off the company. See you tomorrow on Patreon. Patreon, that's right, /AGathering144. Be there. Shalom. Patreon/AGathering144. Be there tomorrow. You don't want to miss the next report. Shalom.